Hello and welcome to New Light Sports. Today we're doing an NBA hot takes episode. I have Hutton with me today. So first we'll go over latest NBA news. So the first news we have is the Lakers trade.
Yeah, a couple of days ago.
Luka was
They're going to
traded.
start playing pretty soon. Luka and a few other players for Gabe Vincent, Anthony Davis. Yeah, it was a okay trade for both teams. I feel like the Lakers, now they actually really do need a center. That was their main problem. And now their defense is absolutely terrible. Luka is pretty much a cone on defense, and LeBron is old. It's hard for him to run back every time on defense. So I think they'll really struggle, but they'll probably score at least 130 points a game.
Yeah. And then we got the Mavs versus the Cavaliers.
Yeah, 91 points in one half is insane.
That was an embarrassment.
Yeah, that proves that
The
That
Mavs
team-
shouldn't have traded Luka.
I think it will help them in the long run. Their main problem has always been defense, and Anthony Davis brings a lot of defense to the table. And I don't think they need that much scoring. Like, who cares if you score 137 points per game if you let the other team score 150?
Yeah, true. Warriors, have you heard of any trade rumors? I heard of one, I can't remember his name though. I think it's to
So,
not the Bucks.
The
Yeah, the
Suns?
Bucks.
anyway, the Bucks had a trade, Kyle Kuzma for Chris Middleton.
Oh yeah.
I think that's an overall good trade. Both teams. The Bucks need someone healthy now who's a decent role player, and the Wizards don't really need anybody because they're the Wizards. Jordan Poole probably going to have an even better season without Kyle Kuzma on the floor. And the other big trade, Jimmy Butler is traded to the Golden State Warriors for, I believe, Andrew Wiggins and a bag of potato chips.
So who do you think is gonna win MVP?
MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. If
Yeah.
Shai gets injured and Jokic wins it, it will be a disgrace to modern basketball. That just proves how bad the NBA is. If a fat white person is dominating the league, that's pretty sad.
I think honestly, overall, LeBron has been like the most inclusive player. Also off of everything. Especially, it's good to see him playing with his son.
Yeah, I think he'll probably get traded on the deadline, if not over the offseason.
Yeah.
And it was very weird. The Jimmy Butler trade took 5 teams, and I think that's a little fishy. Because what trade takes 5 teams that isn't part of the NBA? I think Adam Silver had something to do with that. But I think the Warriors are still going to be probably the 6th seed, even with Jimmy Butler. So I don't think it's going to be that great.
Playoff pictures. So
Playoff picture.
I think the Cavaliers have a good chance, but I've heard a lot of rumors and stuff that they'll start selling in the playoffs.
They're going to run out of gas by the playoffs. That's what the Celtics aren't doing this season. They're not trying to win every single game, 150 points per game. They're trying to save their energy for the playoffs. They're obviously still trying to make the playoffs with a good seed, but they're not trying to 66 wins or anything like that.
Yeah.
They'll probably win the championship back-to-back.
Yeah. And then, have you seen any coaching strategies or anything like that that are
Coaching
different from all the
problem?
others?
JJ Redick is a first-time coach this year, and I think that's the problem with the LeBron era. It's always someone else's fault. First it was Darvin Ham, then etc. D'Lo, then it was Anthony Davis not playing enough, and now it's Luka because he's not actually playing or there's not enough defense. It's always someone else's fault. It's never LeBron's. and I think he's the problem.
I think the Mavs need to get a new game strategist and maybe a new coach too.
Yeah, because they're
Especially
not
with
going to
their
be
strategy
based through Luka.
and a new draft strategy and trading strategy.
I think they've been pretty good in the draft. They
and
drafted
did well.
Luka, which was a very good pickup for pick number 5.
Then they traded him.
Well, no, the Hawks drafted him at 3, and they traded him for Trae Young. Which I think in the overall, Trae Young will be a
Star athlete.
Yeah, he'll still be one of the best players that we remember from this era that wasn't an all-star. He's right on the cusp of being an all-star, but he's just not. But I cannot see Luka having any success over the age of 32. I think he'll win 1 MVP and 1 championship in his career.
Yeah. On that, what's your? I don't really have a favorite rookie.
Favorite rookie to me is Stephon Castle. He's overall athletic, but I think my favorite it's got to be Ron Holland. He's pretty much Stephon Castle, except he has a better haircut, and I just like that name.
I really can't wait to see what Bronny's gonna do.
I think he'll be one of the best G League players of all time. Probably be one of the leading scorers. But I think he'll maybe get called up when he's like 26 to 30, and then he'll get sent back to the G League.
Who's his brother again?
Bryce James.
He's huge.
He's worse than his brother, though. He averaged 2.3 points per game at Sierra Canyon, which is terrible. That's where Bryce played. At 2.3 points per game is not a college player. He went to Arizona because they have one of the best developmental programs in the league, in the NCAA. But I think he'll be a early second-round pick. But I don't think he'll probably be more of like a...
He just needs to get a little more development.
I think he'll be...
Once he gets to the right team and the team knows how to develop him, he'll do it because he's tall.
I think he'll be like rookie Ben Simmons at his best.
He's like 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, I think he'll probably be just... When people in 50 years, they'll be like, he's the poor man's version of LeBron.
Yeah.
Like Kobe's the poor man's version of Michael Jordan.
Yeah. So final thoughts. So I feel like what's something that stood out to me against yesterday. Yeah, yesterday the Hawks won or lost.
I think they lost.
I
believe so. The Hawks this season are going to be mid per usual, and I'm pretty sure a crazy stat line.
They lost by 1 point.
Yeah, they lost by 1 point. De'Aaron Fox, I'm sure he had a good game, but Victor Wembanyama, I'm calling it. 2027, he's winning MVP and Defensive Player of the Year.
They won last year. They didn't win last year, but they did really well last year.
I think at the end of the way, Victor Wembanyama will be a top 5 player of all time. He'll be the greatest defensive player of all time. He's pretty much going to be a better version of Bill Russell. I don't think he'll get the rings. He'll probably get 4 or 5 rings. Probably, I'd say 5 MVPs. And because voter fatigue has really faded in the last few years. Like from 2000 to 2015, voter fatigue was at its peak. And I think that's just not a thing anymore. People are voting for the same people over and over. Yeah. And that's why people like Shaq only won 1 MVP. Because people didn't want to vote for Shaq. He should have been the MVP multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for listening to New Light Sports NBA Hot Takes. Remember to subscribe or follow or just like the video. We'll see you in the next episode. The next episode will probably be Saturday. Thinking. All right. See you next time on New Light Sports.